This episode of the Smooth Podcast is brought to you by Rhode Island's #1 black realtor, Sam Albert. Sam Albert has helped several people I personally know buy and sell their homes, including myself. I bought my first multifamily property from Sam Albert. We all know how difficult it is to buy a property right now, and it's almost impossible to get an offer accepted. That's why it's super important to work with a realtor that not only has the experience, but one that also has a number of listings that you can see before they hit the market. If you already own a home and you're just looking to take advantage of these historically high prices and sell your property, then Sam Albert can also help you with that. He can get you the highest price for your home while making it a smooth and easy process. So if you're looking to buy or sell a property in Rhode Island, you need to reach out to Sam at 401-856-9660. You can also find him on Instagram at Samuel.Albert. That's at SAMUELL.ALBERT. Enjoy the show.
Last year, I was in a different place, you know what I'm saying? But now we're here now, so we're in a better place now. Almost $50,000 a month. It was like 30-something, close to 40. That's something that's very possible. Sometimes people don't see that, but that's very possible to make that kind of money, you know?
Abuse, like in the household growing up?
No. A fitness coach, and you're out every night. And you're doing drugs. I was only into myself at that point. Nobody mattered at that time. You know what I mean? Not that nobody mattered, but like I was a menace at the time, bro.
Right.
My credit is shit. My credit was shit. My credit is still shit now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
Running up tabs and dipping.
Yeah, that did happen.
What's the mindset behind that? One was cocaine. The second was clout. Out of those two, which do you think is more dangerous?
You can't do that if you're in the right mindset, in the right mind play. Like if your mind is right, 75 days in there, you know. They just passed a law that you cannot do, I think, more than 30 in there.
How much were you spending a week on it?
I wasn't really spending much on it, man.
Episode of the Smooth Podcast. My name is Ray, simply motivating others onward through hope. Here to the left of me, I have a longtime friend, Levi. Levi, what's going on, man?
What's up, Ray? How you doing, bro?
So I asked Levi to come on this podcast, and interestingly enough, he said that he actually was praying for the moment that he would be asked to come on this podcast.
It's been a long time coming.
Let me just ask, like, what kind of made you like pray about that?
So I seen like what you was bringing out to the table, you know what I'm saying? You're bringing people that's motivating others, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like I have something that I can bring here today too, you know what I mean? So I've seen what you've been doing. I've been following a few of the podcasts you've been doing. You've been killing it.
Word.
Proud of you on that, bro.
Well, I thank you. I thank you for that. So first, you know, we're gonna start off with like your earlier years. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Cape Verde. And I was raised there until I was about 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, then I immigrated out here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then I've been in Pawtucket pretty much the rest of my life.
Okay. And how was it growing up in Cape Verde?
Cape Verde was different, man. It's a very different world. You know, like, it's like, compared to what we have here, we don't have that out there, you know what I mean? But I grew up in a loving home. You know what I'm saying? Great family and stuff like that. School, great school system. You know, it's a better school system out there than it is out here as well.
Really?
Yes, facts.
Why do you think that is? That's strange.
Because I feel like they're teaching us stuff more early on. Like, let's say something that we're learning in like 4th, 5th, 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? Then we start picking it up here in the U.S. later on. And like when you're 8th, 9th grade, that's when you start to learn about those things. You know? So.
That's interesting. Yeah, shout out to Cape Verde, man. They just won the FIBA basketball joint.
First win, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Shane, man. I know he's living it up over there. Also, a couple of announcements. Please hit the subscribe button. I get a lot of views. Subscribers are going up, but I need everyone, if you get any value from this video or any previous videos, please hit the subscribe button. Shout out to the Smooth Podcast. We got wireless mics now. So Levy's the first one with the mic, so we're testing these joints out. So you come over, around middle school age to Pawtucket. What was that transition like?
I came here and it was about seventh grade. It was a crazy transition. I didn't speak any English, so I had to learn English from scratch. Didn't know many words at all. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people make fun of you when you're in middle school and stuff like that. I started as in a ESL group. You know what I mean?
Right.
At Jenks, and then from there I always like used like English as something for me to practice on outside of school. Like so I was like always told my friends like, yo, speak to me in English. I told my parents like speak to me in English so I can become better at it. You know what I mean? Because like I was like, I can learn English like this. You know what I'm saying? So which I did. Like 2 years later, I was already picking up everything. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But I was learning like the past tense was where it really was at. Like learning the past tense.
tough.
Like because like first you just learn the regular English.
present, yeah.
The present. You know what I mean? You don't go, and then the past tense comes in later on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
There's still some words I can't even say nowadays. You know what I mean? So
That's funny. And so, culture-wise, what was like one of the biggest culture shocks you had from living in Cape Verde to then moving to Pawtucket?
So, one of the biggest thing that stood out is in Cape Verde, I feel like we're more united. Like as a family, we're more united. I got to eat dinner with my family every day. You know what I'm saying? I don't get to do that here as often as I did there. Here we get it when Thanksgiving comes around, Christmas. Right. You know what I'm saying? When the big holidays comes around. But Cape Verde, we have that home cooked meal every day. We're eating at home. We're on the table, sitting having the meal together as a family. You know what I'm saying? Versus here, that was a big change for me. I grew up, like I said, we didn't have much. You know what I mean? Like I slept with my grandmother until I was 12 years old. Wow. So until I came here, you know what I mean? So it was a different thing coming here, having your own room and stuff like that, and coming to a state that has it all, full of opportunities and stuff like that. So it's like when I got here, I'm like, damn, this is insane. This is different. You know what I mean? Came pretty much from the country dirt roads.
And how were your parents, or your parent, whoever kind of like made the move down here? How were they able to do that? Because I feel like that was probably a pretty big jump.
So my dad's dad, pretty much his father, is the one that got him papers to come here. You know what I mean? So my dad came here when he was about 24 years old. You know what I mean? He came pretty much on his own. His dad pretty much was like, there you go. Threw him in the ocean, told him to pretty much swim, sink or swim. And my dad chose to swim, you know what I mean? And he did his thing. And he brought us here, me and my brother, you know what I mean? My mom doesn't live here. My mom lives in Amsterdam.
Wow.
So I was raised by my dad and my stepmother when I came here.
Oh, wow.
Back in Cape Verde, it was my grandmother and my mom that used to raise me there. You know what I'm saying? So,
sheesh. And now, so you're in high school. Do you have plans to go to college? Is college kind of like not your thing? Like towards your junior, senior year of high school, what's your mindset around that time?
My biggest thing in high school was sports, playing soccer. I played soccer my whole life. It's like a Cape Verdean thing. So I wanted to go to college, and so my biggest thing was going to college to play sports. I didn't really have the grades, you know what I mean? I wasn't the smartest book smart kid, you know what I'm saying? So I had knowledge, you know what I mean? But I didn't have I wasn't really focused on the books. I was more focused on the sports, The coach says, hey, you just gotta make sure you're passing your classes, get good grades, do this, do that. I was more just like, I just want to get by so I can play sports. You know what I mean? I wasn't really focused on that. I don't know if it had anything to do with the teaching, the way school was, or what it was, or the transition from coming from a different country and stuff like that. But my biggest thing is I always wanted to be on my own, be an entrepreneur, be a leader of some kind. You know what I mean? So my biggest thing was I wanted to go to college so I could play soccer because I've always been I was a team captain for my soccer team. You know what I'm saying? And then I wanted to go to college so I could do the same thing and just play sports and hopefully become a professional. Every kid's dream is to become a professional on whatever sports they're playing. You know what I mean?
Right. And so did that dream kind of come burning down, or how did that go?
Yeah. Yes, it did. It did. So me and my father didn't have the best relationship growing up. You know what I mean? We was always bumping heads. You know what I'm saying? He saw things from a different perspective, and I saw things from another perspective. So on my when when I graduated high school, that was the year I was turning 18. You know what I mean? So he always threatened me, like, you know, when you turn 18, I'm kicking you out with this and that. You know what I mean? And on that day, the day I turned 18, you know what I mean? August 26th, you know, I turned 18. It was 2010, August 26th, and he kicked me out on that day of my birthday, man.
No way.
Yeah, he did, man. Dad, I'm sorry I'm putting this out here, but you know, but that was one of the things that made me go harder.
And up until that point, where you like, oh, he's just saying it. Like,
yes, up until that point, I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
I didn't believe that he would do that. You know.
So damn, man. So what do you do at that point?
So at that point, I was enrolled at CC at the time. You know what I mean? I had a coach that used to coach me for this team called Rems FC. So he's like, I can guarantee you a full ride to URI as long as you can get your grades up at CC. You need to get your credits up. You know what I mean? And then you can come in here and play for me. You know what I mean? His name was John Garrett. He used to be the D1 coach for the URI. You know what I mean? For the soccer team. So when all that happened, then when my birthday came around, my dad kicked me out. So then now I'm just going to CC for just so I can play soccer. I'm only playing soccer. Then my coach comes to find out that I haven't been showing up to classes. I've been showing up to the games, but I haven't been showing up to classes. So then I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna go work full time. You know what I mean? Because I barely have a place to stay. I don't have enough income from my part time job. I need to work full time in order to build a life for myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's what I did.
And where are you staying at this time? If you got kicked out?
At that time, I was staying at a friend's house. You know what I mean? I didn't. My transmission had just blew that time. You know what I'm saying? My transmission was gone. So I ended up junking that car for like $350. I was sleeping on my boy's couch for a little bit, you know what I mean? And then like I came out of that, like I started working full time, you know what I mean? And then I met my kid's mother, Stephanie, at that time. And then me and her started kicking it and stuff.
And where were you working full time?
I was working at Cello's. I was a server at Cello's, you know what I mean? It was the best thing I could do at the time, you know what I mean? It was good money. You know, being a server, you make pretty good tips, you know what I'm saying? So then after that, I found a regular like 9-to-5 job. Yeah. And I capitalized on that too.
And so when you had your baby boy, how old were you?
I was she was pregnant at 20, so I was 21 when he was born. Yeah.
So that's pretty young.
Yeah, because actually his birthday's next Saturday, so we're actually a week apart. You know what I mean?
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
So you're 21. You're still kind of figuring things out. Got a baby boy on the way. That must be like pretty stressful.
Ooh, it was stressful. It was stressful. It was heavy on my mind at first too. But then I was like, you know what? You got to be a man. You got to be a man when you something like that happens. You can never be that guy that's, hey, you know, I don't want the kid. I don't want this and that. You got to go full on. I was like, I got to be a full-time father. I got to be active in my kid's life.
Yeah.
I always have. You know what I mean? So I said, you got to take the next step and make sure your kid is going to have the best life that you can possibly give him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the best life is honestly just giving him love and being present for him.
I agree.
I agree. I think that's all that matters.
And now fast forward, and part of the reason why you're here right now is, you know, I remember you worked construction. If I'm not mistaken.
I did a little bit of roofing.
So around that time, that's when I met you. Right?
Yeah.
And R.I.P. Danny, that's who was like our like mutual friend at that time.
Yes.
And
Danny and Nessie.
Yeah. And so I remember meeting you and like, you know, when you just like kind of like hit it off with people, like they're just like mad cool, so you just kind of like hit it off. Like that's how I felt about you. I was like, man, this is a cool ass dude right here. You know what I'm saying? And like the few times that we would see each other out, whether you come to like my events or whatever the case may be, like it was always love. It was always like. Just like I just viewed you as like a cool ass dude.
Yeah, that's the same vibe I got from you. You know what I'm saying? We was just matching energies.
Yeah. You know? And it was just like, you know, I thought, you know, humble ass dude, you know, good with the girls. Like I like the way he moves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So from construction, you know, you were probably working out a little bit during that time. Mm-hmm. What gave you the first insight to then like maybe I should take this working out thing more seriously?
Yeah. So I started working out when I was about 13, 14 years old. I had my high school gym teacher, Cato. You know, he used to actually open up the gym at Shea for me at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I used to go in there at 5 in the morning before school started, do my workout, and then like shower and get ready for school. So I'd already be in school around like 5 something in the morning. You know, I used to walk over or take the bus, or I had this little moped. Sometimes I used to take that, or ride the bike, whatever it was, you know what I mean, to get it done. So that's how the fitness got started. Like, Cato put a binder together for me. We put a binder together. So it's like, okay, this is for shoulder, this is for chest, this is for legs, this is for whatever. So let's tackle it however you want to do it. There was like instructions on how to do the workouts, you know what I'm saying? So I just like read it, you know, it was a little different. There was no Instagram at the time to like, okay, let's see, how do you do this workout, or go on YouTube and stuff like that. There wasn't much of that at the time, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even have a phone at that time when I started going there. You know?
Right.
I didn't get my first phone until I was about 16, until I started working, actually, you know what I mean?
Okay. So. And now, when did you start doing like the personal training? Because I'm assuming that you did that before, like the gym aspect of it. So.
Yes. So what happened is like I said, I got into the gym early on, and then like when that time came around, I've always been into that, trying to be into a leadership role. So I've always been the team captain of a soccer team, trying to lead a team to a championship, doing that, just being leaders, making sure people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So that brought me to, I wanted to do something like that I love to do, and I was already working out for 10 years, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to do something that people loved and that can fix your mind and body. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it was. And so when I got to that point, I started working out at the field. I was working out at the field by myself, you know, posting some videos on Instagram, not even thinking about personal training at the time. And then...
And what year was this?
This was 2017, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm in there, and like doing my workouts, posting some videos, and then a couple of my friends, you know, Manny hit me up. He goes, Lev, let me come with you next time, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, pull up. Then I posted again. Somebody else was like, oh, I want to come next time, you know? So then a few females started coming, a few guys, and I was like, oh, shit. I hopped on Amazon. I ordered a couple things, you know what I mean? Like ropes, jump ropes, some bands and stuff. And I was like, wow, I can really make this a career while helping people change their lives. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it all started. It really started at Max Reed Field. It started at Max Reed Field in 2017, around September or something like that.
And I gotta say, that is a beautiful feeling when you're doing something that you feel like naturally you want to do, and then also people are naturally gravitating towards it. Because it's not like you're forcing it to people, like, oh, come with me. Like, people are actually just hitting you up, like, hey, love, like, can I come train with you?
Exactly. And then, like, if you go back to 2017, 2018, Ray, you gotta realize not many people was posting videos of them working out.
I was gonna say that too.
You know what I mean? Nobody was really doing. Everybody's doing that now. Like, you didn't make it to the gym now if you didn't take a selfie in the mirror. Like, if you don't post a piece of the weight, or if you don't post something from a clip from that video, you didn't make it to the gym.
Dinner at a restaurant.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, exactly. Like, if you go, you know, you gotta post. Like, the phone eats first. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you gotta take that pic to prove that you was there. Back in the day, it wasn't like that when we started. Like, when I started at the Shea Gym, there was no proof I was there. The proof was, you know what the proof was? My body and my mindset. That was the proof that, oh, Levy's lifting weights. I didn't have to see it on camera at that time. You know what I'm saying?
You showing with the physical.
Yeah.
And so, like, do you remember, like, who was, like, your kind of, like, go-to person when you were looking to see, okay, I'm training people now, what other trainers should I aspire to be? Was there anyone out there, whether it be locally or on Instagram, where you're like, oh, I like the way that, like, they do their thing?
Yes. So there's one guy, and he's MIA Fitness on IG.
Okay, yeah.
He's from Miami.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I used to follow him a lot. He's the one that kind of like gave me the inspiration of like, take it full on, like, you know, trust the process. That was his thing. Trust the process and go ahead, do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Chase your dreams. Can nobody stop you from that? You know what I mean? So I used to follow him, copy his workouts, you know what I mean? Kind of like having like the same, like he was almost like a mentor without even knowing that he was mentoring me. You know?
I got a lot of those.
I even DM'd him one time, and humble dude DM'd me back, you know, for somebody that has a big following and stuff like that. Take this time out of his day to actually message me back, you know. I would tag him on videos, he would repost them, you know what I'm saying? Like just like cool things like that.
That's a good feeling too.
You know. And at that time, like my fitness level was completely different, you know. I didn't even know it all. I still don't know it all. You know what I mean? Because we in a thing where we keep learning. We learn every day. Every day that the days that go by, we learn. things. Same thing with fitness. Like you learning how to spot somebody in a different way, how to place your feet different on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of things to fitness that a lot of people don't understand. It comes with a lot. You know what I mean? It's genetics. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's your work ethic, how you go after it, and like how relentless you are, and what do you want to accomplish from that. You know what I mean? There's some guys in the gym that's the most fittest person I've ever seen. They're still not doing things correctly. Like the form is still not there. I'm just like, it blows my mind. For some, and then you see somebody else that's doing it all the right things in places. They taking step 1, step 2, step 3, and 4. They're doing all the right things, and they're not getting the results they want. You get what I'm saying? Because like it has a lot to do with genetics. Genetics plays a big role in it. Obviously, how you eat and all that stuff plays a big role in it. Your sleep, everything, and it's like a 5-course. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're in school, like you gotta try to get at least a B on each course on like all your 5 classes in order to pass. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing.
And so you're training clients. What gives you the inspiration or even the light bulb idea to start your own gym/academy?
The biggest thing was the people. The biggest thing was the people, the clients, the community we was building. And like I started with I'm sure you're familiar with Mo and Taj. They gave me a chance. I took the opportunity. You know what I mean? I went to work with them for a little bit. So that is what led to Levi Fitness, LFA. You know what I mean? Starting over there with Taj and Mo, and then the people. The people is what really brought it to life because they believed in me. If they didn't believe in me, I wouldn't get there. You know what I'm saying? So it was all like the credit goes to the people. The community that we made. You know what I'm saying?
And now, I just want to say for the viewership out there, there's going to be some viewers that this is their first time seeing you. There's going to be viewers that they've only seen you on shared Instagram posts and DMs. And there's going to be people that like knowing you like I do. And so I feel like a year ago, if I would have asked that question, you would have said, "Oh yeah, because I'm the man, and that's just the way it goes," type of shit.
It would have been.
But like now that. You're like, "Oh no, it was all the people. Like I wouldn't even be anything if it wasn't for them."
Yes.
I just want to put that out there.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
Yeah, it definitely is for the people. Like you said, last year I was in a different place. You know what I'm saying? But now we're here now, so we're in a better place now.
And so, okay. So I also want to say to the audience out there, I asked Levi if there was anything off market, something that I can't touch on, and he said no, ask away. So I'm grateful that he gave me the room to do that. There are going to be some difficult questions, some trigger warnings, things like that. So here goes nothing. So you have the academy. You have a bunch of staff working. Where do things get funky in the academy? Because you were kind of like in certain relationships that were like in the academy too, which a lot of people say don't ever work, mix business with pleasure and stuff like that. But in your own words, through your own eyes, what was the first thing that kind of broke apart the academy?
So the first thing I would say was me. You know what I mean? I was the one that broke the academy apart. Like it started with I wasn't really going out. Like you probably remember that. Like I was only like focused on my business, focused on my family and stuff like that. Focused on my my clients and building my community. You know what I mean? And then the triggers started coming. Like I started going out. You know what I mean? I was drinking. You know what I mean? Then getting into the drugs and stuff like that. And that's when things turned around because my mindset changed. Now it wasn't about everyone else. It was more about myself. You know what I'm saying? So when you start to think so much more about yourself versus the people, like you have to sacrifice. You pretty much have to sacrifice yourself for others. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that everybody's doing well. Obviously, you know what I mean by that. Like, you have to be happy within yourself first.
Right.
But you have to sacrifice.
But they matter.
They matter.
Just the fact that they matter.
Yes, they do.
You can't be 100 with you because they matter.
Because it's like especially being in the where we at, like it's almost like you can't have a bad day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to come in. You're there to motivate people. You know, you can't bring your drama to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a point, like I'm looking back at that time. I'm pulling up to the gym. Like, I don't mind having like my chain on. Like, sometimes I don't never take my chain off. I keep it on and stuff. I'm pulling up to the gym. I got my Rolex on. I got the bracelet on. Him in the gym, fully decked out in jewelry. Like, what are you doing at this point? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just driving people away from you because, like, no, they used to such a humble kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nice to have nice things. We all want nice things, you know? But then you have somebody that's struggling out there just to make things right for themselves and even to scrape up some change to come work out at your gym. And here you are pulling up, you know, not to bring prices into the thing, but you're bringing a $15,000, $17,000 chain, whatever.
And on that note, so, you know, you say, like, okay, the drugs and the drinking got kind of like, that's when things started kind of like decaying. Was it the popularity that you were gaining at that time, or was it the money that you were gaining at that time? Do you think kind of amplified things the most? Like, was it, because from everything that you told us up until this point was like, you know, you had real humble beginnings.
Yes, 100%.
And all of us that didn't really have anything, that moment that we do get some bread, we act a fool.
Yes, that's what it was.
Like it's like pre-written almost. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, it's pre-written. You're gonna act a fool. That first bag you get, you're gonna act up. So was that like you finally built this, you know, beautiful place, money's coming in, and now you're like, wow, all this money that I've always wanted, like I actually have it now. Mm-hmm. And then it's just kind of like got to your head a little bit, you think?
Yes, it definitely did. It definitely did. That mixing money, if you mix money with drugs, liquor, and women, you're going to just fail, bro. You're going to fail. You're not going to go nowhere in life with that, you know. Whenever you have money, just stay calm. Act the same way you was acting 5-6 years ago. Obviously, things change around you, you know what I mean? You move into a bigger house. You drive in a better car, you know what I mean? Your appearance is different. But that's fine. Just keep it humble. Stay humble. You know what I mean? Stay helping the others. You know, that's something I always do is help others. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, but when you mix like money, and you know what I mean, and you mix in business with pleasure, you're only gonna fail at that point. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna go nowhere. You might think like you're the man. You're doing this. You're doing that. Like, you're never gonna run out. This is never gonna happen. It could happen to any of us.
Yeah. So now there was a lot of, you know, you had a lot of females that you were working with, and they all seemed to kind of leave one by one. What do you attribute that to?
Like I said, all of that comes down to me. You know what I mean? Like, we used to have weekly meetings. Like, you know what I mean? That we used to sit down. Like, these girls used to look up to me. You know, they used to look up to me. That's the reason why they ended up in my facility. You know what I mean? Like, I never really DM'd any of them to really come work for me. They all wanted to come work for me. They're the ones that approached me to come into the gym. You know what I mean? It started with, not to name drop. Can I name drop?
Yeah. Do it
as long as they're cool with it, right? Yeah. So like, the first trainer I really brought in was Marilda. You know what I mean? And she was great. You know what I mean? She's awesome. She's coaching with Shane right now, you know, and doing a phenomenal job over there. You know, so like that's where it started. Like, Mimi was the first female trainer I got there. She approached me about it. It was during COVID. I'm like, I'm not bringing anybody new right now in because it's during COVID. I'm only keeping the people that's already here that I can train right now. But I'm just like, once we get over this COVID wave, then you'll be the first one on the roster. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was her. Then obviously Vanessa, you know, and what's it called, Jasmine, then Amanda, Kelly. So we had a big staff there. My biggest thing was to just hire females. I wanted no male trainers in that gym, pretty much.
And some people would view that as a red flag right there. Mm-hmm. what was your kind of what was your play on that? Like, why was it only women?
So, because women take care of what they love. You know what I'm saying? Versus men, we have egos. You know what I'm saying? There can almost be competition in the workplace. You know, females is a little different. You know, they're there and they're showing the place as much love. Because as long as they love the place, they're gonna show much love to it and take good care of it like it's their own. You know, and that's what they did. They did that until I changed. You know, once I changed, then they changed. You know, but it starts at the top. It started with me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like everything, even the name is Levi Fitness. You know, you're going to, oh, you support Levi Fitness. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, it's Levi Fitness. It's not Vanessa Fitness. It's not Jasmine Fitness. It's not all of that fitness. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the name is like, you have to keep this image up. You know, where you have to stay the same guy that everybody fell in love with. You know what I'm saying? So, with all the females in there, my biggest thing was because I knew my place was more of like females will spend the money. You know, fellas is be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a 24 session, it's a $1,100. Fellas is like, man, that's a little steep. I can do this on my own. You know, but females, they're careless with their money, especially if they got it. They don't mind spending. They were willing to just come in, and so we based it off like I wanted that because every female is gonna bring their own friends around and stuff like that. They're gonna bring a bigger clientele around, and that's what LFA was really all about. If you went in there, there was really 95% females in there. You know what I'm saying? It was never because of any of like, oh, this macho man status. I just wanted the baddest females around my place. You know what I mean? It just worked out that way. It worked out that way better for us. You know what I'm saying? But it was never like, I've never messed with any of my trainers in there. Or what I liked, maybe one. But the rest of them was really just on a professional level. Always. It was always on a professional level.
I think that was like one of the many rumors that we'll get into was that, you know, you were kind of messing around or wanting to mess around with a lot of the trainers.
Stop. That's I can tell you that's not true. That's completely not true. Wherever that rumor came from, that is not true. Okay. You know? So it was more like like I said, things started changing within myself. You know what I mean? I started changing, and then I said things that I should have never said. You know what I'm saying? Versus like, I'm the man here. If you don't like it here, you know what I mean? You can go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Not having that humble mentality, and then like, okay, let's talk. Let's figure out how we can work this out. You know what I'm saying? Let's figure this out. Like, hold that thought. Let's talk about it later on. Versus...
And also, you know, what kind of... Because, like, this is very... Like, I can just picture... Like, that kind of talk, it comes with, like, you having a bag. Like
yes,
like because I'm thinking of like the times I've said that, I'm like, yeah, like I was going crazy.
Yeah.
So what, you know, and you know, tell me, you know, that's, you know, information you want to give out if you want to give it out. But at the peak of it, how much were you ranking in a month?
So at that time, it's probably around like $24,000 to $27,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Because, you know, I had incomes from 7 different trainers. We had a big clientele in there, from classes to personal training to the store I ran, you know what I mean, and all that stuff. So the money was up there, you know what I mean? And that's the way I was able to get to where I got, you know what I mean? It's because the money was coming in, you know what I mean? And one of the biggest things that actually got me to that level, that got to where I was actually COVID. COVID is what helped it, because I never shut my gym down. I tinted my windows and I ran that place like clockwork all day long, you know what I mean? Like nothing else. Like, while every other gym was closed, my place was open. I just told everybody, don't post any pictures in here. You know, we're gonna just act like we're closed, and we kept it open the whole time. I didn't shut down for 1 week, bro. You know, some people might look at it and say greediness. I look at it as I capitalized on an opportunity, because look where COVID's at now.
And you know? Speaking in that same lane, another rumor would be that you amount a majority of that through certain things. I'm choosing my words carefully, because I'm not trying to get anyone in trouble or nothing like that. But you amount that through through certain opportunities that the government was providing?
There was help. Yes, there was. There was some help, but it wasn't much. It was.
So a majority was still just through
Yeah,
the
nah,
actual gym
it was
itself.
through our gym itself. Yeah, I remember there was
Because
one.
that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people would say, no, he got a majority because of this.
That's because people are quick to label things. You know what I mean? People could never admit that somebody's doing this well for themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. I agree.
Like
with that.
we had projections where I sat down with my accountant for the new gym that was in the LFA 2.0 that was supposed to open up. We had projections. I have those things on paper from my accountant that we put together that was gonna rank close to almost $50,000 a month. It was like 30 something, close to 40. That's something that's very possible. Sometimes people don't see that, but that's very possible to make that kind of money. And then once you touch it, you can keep touching it. Once like your hardest money to make is your first 100,000. Once you make your first 100,000, the next one is easier to come by. It's not easy, but it's you know how to play your cards right. You know how to make it come back to you.
Right. And so who, if you can say, who was the first person to kind of yank your shirt a little bit and be like, yo, Lev, like, you're kind of going off the deep end right now? Like, the very first person, who do you think that person was?
I would say my coaches. My coaches started coming to me and like pointing things out, but I wasn't gonna say stupid at this point. I was too stupid to realize it. I had it good at that time. I had it great. If you look at it, what I mean, from the outside looking in, you're looking at it, you're like, wow, this guy is gonna skyrocket. You know what I mean? From the way things were going, there was a bunch of other people that wanted to come in and train. We didn't have the room for it.
I have to note it again. People like me that knew you, freaking 6-7 years before the fitness thing, like we want you to win.
Yes.
Like there's certain people that came in because of the certain lifestyle you were posting, but like there's also a big group of us that remember the Lev that was a construction worker that we're seeing you now. We're like, oh man, like
it's like
my boy's getting it.
It's a great come up. It's a good story to tell. You know what I mean? It's a great story to tell. But like I said, if you don't have the people, then you don't have none of that.
And but did you always know that?
No. There was a time where I lost that thought. That should be something that's like should be framed. It should be tattooed on me. You know what I'm saying? Like I got all these tattoos. That should be like the main tattoo on myself, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like I should have had that tattooed on me because there was a point where I lost that.
Yeah,
I lost that train of thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like you said, oh, I'm the man now. Like, you know what I mean? I do this. I did this. I did that. No, we did it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We did it because without them, we would have never got there. Without the trainers, we would have never got to where we got. You know what I'm saying? If it was just me, I couldn't taken all that workload. You know what I mean? Like I worked 7 days a week for a long period of time. When I worked at Fitness Sanctuary, I worked 7 days a week. You know, and then it came down to a point where I'm working like 3-4 days a week. Like you're getting too cocky now. You know what I mean? You're getting too comfortable, man. Don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable, man.
Right. Now, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask hard questions. So
of course, I'm here for it.
Yeah. So things were rocky with you and your ex. Growing up, did you see any abuse like in the household growing up?
No, there was none of that. Because like I said, my dad immigrated, early on, and then my mother later on immigrated to the Amsterdam herself. You know what I'm saying? So I was raised pretty much mostly by my grandmother at the time. There was never any abuse. You know what I mean? I don't come from that background.
So what happened?
So what happened with my relationship? So infidelity issues with myself. You know what I'm saying? I had a great woman. You know what I mean? She's still great. I had a great woman. I am the one that messed up. You know what I'm saying? So I can never take that away from the person I had. You know what I mean? The person I had helped me get to where I was. You know what I'm saying? And then they were scared. They were scared of like that when the drugs got involved that things were gonna change, but I didn't see it like that. I got it under control. I didn't. you know, and I didn't have it. You always think you have things under control. You know what I mean?
It's always the drunk person saying, "No,
I
I'm
got
good.
this. I
I'm
can
good.
drive. You know, I can drive. I can drive us. Don't
Right.
worry about it. You're the
Right.
best driver when
Right.
you're drunk, bro. Like you can go do a whole NASCAR race. You know what I mean? Put a helmet on and go. You know, and the relationship it was basically me. You know, I was never a faithful person. I was really never a faithful person. You know what I mean? That was an issue I've had through every relationship I've been in. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it comes from my grandfather having 30 something kids with 8 different wives, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, and then like my father growing up and early on wasn't the most faithful person in his early days, you know what I'm saying? Like, mind you, he's a great man. My dad's a great man now. You know what I mean? Like, he's completely different. But it's like he had kids young. Like him and my mom, they had us when my mom was 14 when she had my brother, and she was 17 when she had me. You know what I mean? And I believe my dad was he's 51 now. I'm 31, so he was about 20 when he had me. You know what I mean? So he was a young kid at the time too. You know what I mean? So I feel like maybe that infidelity issues came from a family background. There was never abuse, but infidelity, the issue came from like that Andrade bloodline. I'm assuming that, but it's you can always break that curse. Yeah. You know what I mean? You choose what you can do. Yeah. You know, you're in control of your own destiny. So,
and now from the outside looking in, it looked like obviously you were hurt by, you know, the breakup, but it seemed like that seemed to hit at the same point as people leaving your academy, at the same point as probably the peak of your drug use. Would that be fair to say? Or?
Yes, it's very fair to say, because if I can recall, I don't remember the exact date of the breakup, but it was around the same time that me and Mimi got into an argument. You know what I'm saying? We had a disagreement, and I had her leave. You know, I was like, take the rest of the day off and stuff, and like that was the same time that me and Vanessa broke up, and then she left, and then another trainer left. You know what I'm saying? And then the next one came to me and was like, "Oh, listen, I'm leaving too." Like, and then so it was just bad because it all just happened like that. You know what I mean? It's a lot to take in at that point too. You know what I mean? It's a lot. It's a lot on your mental health. Like my mental health was screwed up at that time, and I was just trying to like stay focused and like kept pushing forward. You know what I mean? I ended up getting like I had like a therapist. You know what I mean? Getting help from a therapist. You know what I mean? Just so I could try to like cope and get better through those things I was going through. You know what I mean? You're losing the best people you have. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just talking about business wise. I'm talking about we was a family. We was built as a family. I feel like I'm losing family members. So now I'm mourning all these people, like back to back to back. And then I just lost the person that kept me together. You know what I'm saying? I lost my girl at the time. You know, my fiance at the time. So it was a lot for me to take in and grasp, and I couldn't like seem to focus at the time because there was just so much more going on my brain, you know, because of all the people I lost. You get what I'm saying?
And so, you know, would it be safe to say that even though that you were seeing a therapist, is it safe to say that you kind of dove into alcohol and drugs even more after that?
Yes. It was more of like when I'm out, you cannot be a fitness coach and you're out every night and you're doing drugs. Excuse me. And I'm not talking about weed. Weed is whatever. You can smoke weed whenever you want. You know what I mean? That's whatever. But when it comes to like heavier drugs and then the alcohol, and you're out on a Monday, you're out on a Tuesday, Thursday, every day you're out. It's not a good look for you. And then you're posting about it. You know, you're bragging about it. Like, hey, listen, I'm doing this, and I don't really care what you think.
Yeah.
You know that.
So, and I guess we'll fast forward a little bit, but there was a time where you were posting drug use like on Instagram. What's the brain mechanics behind that, man?
Bro, if I could go back and knock myself upside the head when this was going on, I would. You know, there's no explanation for that. To say like, oh, I did this to show people that it's okay to do it or anything like that. There was nothing behind that. I don't know if it was an attention base or something for attention or something like that. Because I wasn't there.
So
I don't even know who that was, honestly, right now.
So I'm going to push back a little bit. And, you know, there was a point that you were probably in, you know, say like Providence, Cranston, Pawtucket, EP, Central Falls, like, you know, the urbanized, I guess, part of Rhode Island. You were probably in everyone's group chat on the weekly basis. Probably.
Yes, definitely.
Probably. Now, you must have seen your views like skyrocket during this time. Is that fair to say?
Yes, shares, all of that.
You liked it?
Yeah, I did. Safe to say, yes. At that time, yes. You know, but it was bad publicity. Where was that for the good publicity? You know what I'm saying?
Was there a difference between good and bad at that point for you? Like, did you just take it as
there was nothing good at that point?
Like, because I can imagine, like, you're feeling down. All of these negative things just happen, right? And, you know, horrible things happen. You're losing, you know, potentially losing your gym. You lost your relationship. You know, you're losing your trust with people. But the one kind of, like, dopamine that you would be getting that's, like, a good is, like, oh, wow, like, a lot of people are, like, tapping into what I got going on. Even more than before. Yeah. So you probably did gravitate towards that.
Yes, and you know what I mean? We can all sit here and say we don't like attention. But if you get an attention, you like it at whatever stage of life you are in, you're going to like it. You know what I mean? So there might be some people out there that don't gravitate to that. You know, at that time, I was very into myself. I didn't care what anybody thought of me. You know, it was the wrong thing to do.
And how many views were you getting around this time?
It's like probably 3,000 shares was up to like 300 shares and like a post, like not even a post, it was like on a story.
On a story,
you know what I'm saying? And then that's not even including like probably like screenshots and like I'm never on Twitter and people on Twitter like I'm the topic at the moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, it was whatever, but like if I could really like knock that guy upside the head, bro, I would do that, bro. Mm-hmm. I would knock that guy upside the head because that's not who I am. That was who I was at the moment. You gotta take accountability for where I was at the time. That it was completely my fault. That was me there. That was me at that time. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, I really want you to try to take us in the mindset of your mindset during that time when you're posting the girls that you're sleeping with. You're posting the drug use. It doesn't seem like you're sleeping that much because, you know, you're posting at like 4 a.m, back up at 7 a.m. But what was it about the views? What was it that like just made you? I guess I'm answering my own question, but like, what kind of like incentivized you to post all of these just like totally left things when you kind of know you're gonna get looked at in a different light? Did you, or was it something that you just didn't care? As long as you got views and as long as like people were talking about you, you kind of didn't even care about what they were talking about.
Yes, and I didn't care at that point. Like I was only into myself at that point. Nobody mattered at that time. You know what I mean? Not that nobody mattered, but at that time, like you couldn't tell me shit at that time. You know what I mean? I had too much going on. You know what I'm saying? That I was just posting everything, and it was more like just like hit this post, hit this post, hit this post, hit this post, hit this post. Like it was back to back to back. Like so when I realized, like when I seen my story from like when I came out of prison, you know what I'm saying? When I look like from like messages that was on my Instagram, I'm like, oh, this is overwhelming. Let me see what the hell I did. Click on it, and I'm just like, the things was like, it was like tiny, bro. Like you couldn't even see like the like, you know, like you can see the story. Yeah. Bro, it was insane, bro. It was like a hairline.
So now, was that like a manic episode that you were
going through? It was. Like I was a menace at the time, bro. I was a menace at the time. I wasn't myself. I wasn't in my own head because there's no way in hell somebody can just post all that stuff. And like, you know what I mean? That's self-sabotage. You know, you're self-sabotaging yourself.
And now, you know, I guess I'm a dibble and dabble, but
Okay.
follow me.
Yeah.
Your love for cars, that started with the Camaro. I saw, that's when I met you, when you had the Camaro.
That was back in 2011, 2012.
I was driving a Trailblazer at the time, so I was like, oh, this dude got a nice whip or whatever.
Yeah. Always had a nice, always had a love for nice cars.
So, the first Benz that you get, what Benz is it?
The first one I got was a GLE. It was a GLE.
That's why I got
the GLE
coupe.
Nice
car. Oh, I don't got the coupe, but
it was a GLE coupe. Yeah.
So, break down what was up with like posting different cars. I guess like test driving cars and like this is another rumor thing where you would like test drive a car, but maybe like take it when you weren't supposed to. Owing money on certain cars that you were posting. Can you just explain and like kind of like the car, just in totality, the car situation? It seemed like you were in a different car every other week. What was that all about?
Like if we're talking about the cars I owned, or we talking about the cars I was
both? Because it gets blurry, right? Yeah, you could own a lot and then like bullshit a lot too, it's like. So can you kind of explain it all? Explain the ones that you own and explain like the other stuff.
So basically, it was all a mess at that time, bro. It's like it's hard to even it's even hard to put it into words, bro. To like what was going on at that time, Like did I want them all? Yes, we all do. I wanted them all at the time. You know what I'm saying? Could I afford them all at the time? Hell no.
Right.
Hell no.
Right.
My credit is shit. My credit was shit. My credit is still shit now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm working
but because it's, obviously you should be expecting a financial hit if like people are leaving, if people are like, untrusting you. But like during that whole episode, you like kicked it up a notch on like, oh yeah, I'm gonna ball out, and like, so like, was that like, it had to be like an ego thing to show people that like you weren't down and out?
Yes. Yeah, but the thing is, before everybody left, that's when I bought the cars. Like when I bought my GT and all that. That was before. That was when things was really well. That was before anything happened. That's when my life changed. After that, because that's when you start to feel like, okay, now I got everything. I got the freshest Benz out here. You know what I'm saying? Like I got the night water.
I remember seeing you on Thayer, and this was before kind of, but like I remember seeing you on Thayer Street, and I was like, yo, that's a nice ass car.
Yeah, it was a GT, man. You know what I mean? It was a very expensive car. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so those cars came into play before any of this happened. But if we're talking about last year in February when I went on a rampage about like buying all these things, yeah, that was all for clout. That was all clout at the moment. Because my mind was not in the right place.
So did you sign any papers saying that you were going to like purchase any of these cars?
There was one that I was actually going to purchase. And it was only going to purchase because I was trading everything else back in.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So like you get rid of a GT and you get rid of the truck in the E-Class at the time. You get swap. Then it's easy. It's pretty much an easy swap.
Were you kicked out of any dealerships?
No. There was a joke. There was a joke from... if we're talking about Elmwood Dodge, that was a joke. That was a joke with me and Marcio and stuff. Me and Marcio go way back. You know what I'm saying? And like, he's one of the first people I talked to after I came out as well. You know what I mean? He makes sure that I was okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But none of that. That was all jokes. You can go back and ask him. It looked like that, but it was just.
I hope that you're giving me all the truth. I gotta ask you.
I'm being 100% honest with you. That was all. Like bullshit right there. Like he never kicked me out of there. He would never kick me out of there. I can go in there right now and have a chill day with him and test drive any car I want on that lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on that place no more, man. I'm not there no more, man. I'm like I'm in a different headspace, where like I want to get better and not be doing those things I did before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So on that same note,
with the cars.
No, on that same note, I can't let you go that soon. On that same
I'm
note,
not ready to go yet.
You were going to these bars and lounges, running up tabs and dipping.
Yeah, that did happen.
What's the mindset behind that?
There was no mindset behind that.
Like I'm talking about, like you're ordering, like, cause what I'm saying, you posted. So it's like public like information.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like you're posting like buying these bottles. There was one time you're at the strip club, you're posting like all this stuff. And like afterwards, people are just like, yo, like he ran out after.
We didn't run out. Everything got paid. Everything that happened did get paid. You know what I'm saying? Was it paid by me? No, it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It was paid. Like I remember being at what's it called, that what's that place called? Hours. I had a disagreement with the owner at Hours. Not a disagreement. I'm the one that messed up. You know what I'm saying? I went in there to take a shot with my friend because I was across the street. I was at Opa at the time, and then I was there. I went across the street to take a shot with a friend of mine. You know, and then we racked up. I racked up the bill, and because I wanted to order bottles at the time, you know, and then when it came time to pay it, there wasn't enough money in my account at the time. You know what I'm saying? So the swipes.
But how do you, like, if you're that low? So we're saying $1,000 or less. If you're that low, why are you doing that then?
Drugs, bro. I wasn't myself. I wasn't myself. Like there's no explanation for that. You know, it was just a fucked up situation. I fucked up, and I'm putting people in fucked up situations at the moment. You know, because not just everybody just have $1,000 to blow on one night. Because I had it before when I was doing it before in the past, when I was pulling up, spending 1,000, 2, 3, 4 nights in a week. You know what I'm saying? But when I got to that level where I didn't have it, and I still wanted to put that picture out there like I still had it. You know, when you don't, if you're down, lay low, rework your things out, and then come back stronger. You know, but
you can only really do that with a clear mind.
Exactly, with a clear mind. Like if you're on drugs, bro, you will not function properly because that's something I would never do. I did it, so you can't say never.
So to me, you had 2 drug addictions. One was cocaine. The second was clout. Out of those 2, which do you think is more dangerous?
The drugs, definitely. Because the clout, you can control that. But the drugs is like you don't know how to control on that. You know? So I would say the drugs.
And then, you know, you're out in Boston and, you know, you post that, you buy a bottle at dinner and stuff like that. You run out on that tab.
It didn't run out.
You didn't run out on that tab. But you took your shirt off at dinner.
Yes.
It's at a nice spot, like a nice classy restaurant. Yeah. You take your shirt off. Why do you take your shirt off at dinner?
Honestly, I don't even have an answer for that. Because that would, like, you can't do that if you're in the right mindset, in the right mind. Like, if your mind is right, we would never do something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I would never do something like that. Like, that's a place that, like, I got locked up for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, for what I did. And it wasn't even so much about a tab. It was more of a damage I caused. You know what I'm saying? Like breaking, like a table and stuff like that. Or you've been there. Mm-hmm. You've been to, what's it called? Mastro?
Mastro's,
yeah. You know how they have that big wine glass and stuff. And I smashed that thing up at that time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if you know about that. But like I smashed that thing up at that time. And I'm in, like I still have cocaine in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing this shit and I'm going to the bathroom and like I'm putting this thing out. Like they got what's it called? What are those guys called that's in the bathroom?
Oh, the towel guys.
Yeah, the towel guys. Yeah. So he's in there and I'm just like laying things out right here and like boom and like getting to it right in front of him and stuff like that. And then like so my like when you're on coke, bro, you're so high up that like you feel like you're bigger than you really are. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't myself. Definitely wasn't myself. I had a lot like self-work to do. I still have a lot of self-work to do. You know what I mean? The one thing I can say is like I fucked up. I messed up. You know what I mean? Because none of those places deserved that. None of the people I was with deserved that. You know, I was putting other people in danger because of myself. You know what I mean? Because of my whatever I had going on at the time.
And now you talked about getting locked up. On the outside looking in again, it seemed like you would get locked up, get released, and then that next day you were already back to the shenanigans.
Yeah.
So And that's why I kind of asked the question I asked before about what's more dangerous, the clout or the drugs, because if you're locked up, obviously you're not doing drugs, locked up.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come out, technically you're clean. But there had to be something that you were like, oh, I'm trying to get this popping again.
Yeah.
Or am I off with that?
No, you're not off. But what I'm gonna say is, hold on, give me a sec. What I'm gonna say is, when I was coming out, I was doing short bids.
And how many times did you get locked up in that,
that frame?
year and a half span?
A year it was about 5 times, because the first time.
So you got locked up 5 times in a year and a half span.
Yeah, and then the first time I got out the same day. I never had a record in my life. I have no record except from October 20, whatever that was. From that day forward, that's when my record started at 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, the records, I got locked up, came out the same day. That same day I came out. Then they picked me up that same day on a warrant, for violating a no contact order. Then I went in for 3 weeks, came back out. Then was out for 3 days, went back in.
So like the 3 days and going back in, like that's not like a clout thing?
No, it was. I was coming out more like, it was like when I came out, I wasn't really coming out. I wasn't reflecting on myself. I was blaming others for everything that was going on. I was coming out looking for revenge.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? I was coming out looking for revenge instead of coming out and trying to fix myself to get better. Versus this last time around was like, I sat down for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like I did. I don't know if I'm getting off topic here, but I did 75 days in the box, something that we call segregation. 75 days in there. They just passed a law that you cannot do, I think, more than 30 in there, because like people, a lot of suicides and stuff like that.
So is that 23 and 1 or
23 and 1? Yeah, 23 and 1 in there. That's just during the week, and then you get 3 showers in a week, and then the weekend you're locked in the whole weekend. You know what I mean?
And now during that time, when
that's when the reflecting came in. That's when I started reflecting on myself and realizing that, like, you're the problem. Like, you're the problem. You gotta fix yourself, before you can fix anything else. And that's when I took accountability for everything. I said, this time around, when I come out, it's gonna be different.
And now, 23 hours in a cell. Explain to the person like me who hasn't been to jail.
Don't.
What that
never want to see you in some situation like that.
But what is that like? Like, is it different from the first day to the 20th day? Like, are you like mentally like going out of your mind? Like, walk us through like how you're feeling during that time.
It's messed up. It is messed up, bro. Like, you get into your own head when you're there, because you get so much time to self-reflect. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can reflect on yourself, but when you're there for 75 days, that's like you start to get used to this shit, and it's something you don't want to get used to, because then you get too comfortable in there. You know what I mean? Like, what I did was, I did my push-ups. You know what I mean? I slept. I read books. You know what I mean? And obviously I had my 3 meals a day and stuff like that. And then I just bullshit throughout the day. There wasn't much to do there other than think.
Which sounds crazy, but that even sounds like a healthier lifestyle than you were living before.
Than what I was living before. Yes, definitely. Definitely, because like what I was doing before was like, I wasn't really eating, man. I was like the cocaine will keep you falling up. That's it. Like, you know what I mean? It shuts your throat down. You don't really need to eat much, and you just keep moving. You don't shut down. As long as you keep refueling yourself with that. You know what I mean? So it was definitely, that's when I came to that realization that I had to change my life.
And at the peak of the cocaine use, how much were you spending a week on it?
I wasn't really spending much on it, man. Like most the people around me was providing it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I wasn't really like going here and spending this much on the coke or this and that. You know what I mean? Mostly it was like people around me that was providing it. And I don't even know how I had so much of it. You know what I'm saying? So.
And so, obviously a lot of bonds were broken. A lot of relationships were tarnished. I'm sure doing this during this time of 2021, you're thinking to yourself, how can I make things right
Yes.
when I get out? What are some ways that you thought about of being a legitimate way? Because I'm sure there's some relationships that it's like, yo, the best thing for me to do is just to like, just don't do anything.
Yeah,
Actually,
just leave it alone.
You just leave it as
Yeah.
is. Like me trying to impute myself, in any way would actually be worse than just me just leaving it alone.
Yeah.
So even with like some of your guy friends, I guess, like that were trying to like pull your coattail, like, yo, you gotta chill. I'm sure some of those relationships were, tarnished.
Yeah.
What was on your mind on how to try to get those relationships back?
There's only so much you can do. At that point, you can only fix yourself at that moment. You know what I mean? You can only fix yourself. And that's what I'm doing right now, is fixing myself. Because like the hard work don't really start there. The hard work really starts when you come out. Because over there you pretty much you have it made. Like they do your laundry for you. You get your 3 meals a day, and if you have food in your room, you can make your food up and whatever. It's not like, oh, it's the best life or anything like that. It sucks, but like you have it, like they're doing things for you. You know what I'm saying? But so your hard work really starts here when you come out and you don't have nothing. When you have to like really like stand your ground, put both your feet down, and really realize, okay, no, now the hard work starts. Now let's work. But the only way to fix the other relationships is by fixing yourself. And that's what I'm working on now. You know what I mean? I'm not where I want to be yet, mentally, physically. And so I'm working on myself right now, so I can be able to rebuild those relationships. Because right now it's like I burnt so many bridges, so right now I'm in water. I'm swimming. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to like put this bridge back together. You get what I'm saying? Like putting this one back together. There's been people I've messaged, and they've left me on red. But you know what? It's my job to earn their trust versus them trusting me. I have to earn it. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been there. Like they had all the trust in me. They put me on a pedestal. Like, yo, Levi is that guy. If you want fitness, you want this humble kid. You know what I mean? And the biggest thing is work on yourself right now. That's the biggest thing for me right now. You know what I mean?
The whole like mayor of Pawtucket thing. Where did that come from? And I gotta mention it because you mentioned it a lot to the point where I'm like I just didn't know where it came from, or if like somebody was like, no, like I'm the mayor of Pawtucket. Like why was that at the forefront of a lot of like daily kind of things that you would tell Instagram?
I don't know, man. I think that was for attention, honestly. I think that was more for attention and like abusing your power at the time. You know what I'm saying? Abusing my power at the time. You know what I mean? And it's like it was more for clout than anything. It wasn't like am I really the man? No, not, you know what I mean? It was just a way of telling you I'm the man. Like at that time, you know what I mean? Like.
And now, so some like I'm in the mental health field, and something that I was seeing that it kind of broke my heart a little bit. I'll be honest, was throughout this whole thing, you're clearly still idolizing your son. Like you're still making sure like your son is like straight. You know what I mean? You're from the outside in, like your love for your son. That was the one thing that it stayed the same.
That never changed
the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Do you think any damage was done to him seeing his father act the way he was acting during that time frame?
I try to keep a lot of that away from him. You know what I mean? But obviously, there's only so much you can keep away. There's so much you can shield. You know what I'm saying? So there was definitely some damage done. I know there was. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like if I was so much like really had that on point, why was I doing what I was doing? So I technically didn't have it all on point with that. You know what I'm saying? Even though like I had him around me. You know what I'm saying? But like, what kind of father is really out here doing drugs and then putting his son in the car and then taking him places? You know what I'm saying? It's like you're almost like just showing him the good things, but you're like Dad's really going through some shit right now. You know what I'm saying? And he would probably understand it more if me and him just chilled at the crib and like and just watched a movie versus like, oh, I'm scooping him up and like he's over here, we're watching the movie and I'm like running to the bathroom to do a quick line of coke and come back to him while we're watching the movies or something like that. Or I'm doing it before we hop in the whip together. You know what I'm saying? Like he knew something was up. Like, you know what I mean? Like he knew something was up. Like the biggest thing, right, that broke my heart, man, is when my son told me that I want you to be the dad that you was from 2013 to 20 to the middle of 2022. Right, that broke my heart, man. That broke my heart. Like something had to give. Like I had to change my life, man. I had to change my life. Like my own son said that. My first day out, this kid wouldn't. He was in DR at the time. He was over there with his grandmother, you know, for a little bit of the school vacation and stuff. And he was calling me like he's traumatized. He's calling me every 2 hours, make sure I'm good, bro. After I got out this time.
Wow.
He's calling me every 2 hours.
Wow.
Goes, texts me, Dad, make sure you don't get in trouble. Because if you do, I'm gonna cry. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you to go away again. You know, Dad told me that, like, you know, you can never do this shit again. You know, for your own son that's 9 years old to pretty much tell you that you need to do this, you need to do better, it's because he knows something. He knows something wasn't right. You know, and his life changed completely. You know what I mean? His life is different right now because of my actions. You know, so I'm working on myself and I'm working on rebuilding the relationship with him. Like he never stopped loving me. Till this day, I'm his best friend, you know, and like the other day he was talking to his friend, he's like, yeah, the worst thing I could ever see is my dad cry. That'd be the worst thing I could ever see. I never want to see my dad cry. Like, and like things like that, just for me hearing it from one room while he's in the other talking to his friend, and they're just like, bro, it just like, it breaks my heart because I put him through that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I pulled him aside when I came out just to have a conversation with just me and him. Like, you know, like, I'm sorry for what I put you through this last year of my life. You know, but I said, things are hard right now. Things are very different right now for us. But Dad's going to do everything he can in his power to make things better for us. You know what I mean? Because that's honestly, that's the relationship that matters the most to me. That's the one relationship that I say, that's the one that matters the most to me. You know, like, Dad don't even have a car right now. Dad doesn't have a car. Dad don't have a house. Dad don't have a business. Dad don't have a job. Picking up work here and there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm picking up work, reading, I'm working out, journaling. You know, I'm taking all the right steps in the right direction. You know, but it sucks because, like, I remember when I first came out, like, I had no bread, like, at all, no bread. Like, we went to I took him out for ice cream. Mind you, this is not that long ago. I've only been out for a month. Took him out for ice cream, bro. I could only afford to get him ice cream at that time. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, because, like, I had like $10 or $8 in my pocket. I didn't realize how much things have changed. You know what I mean? Like, things are expensive these days, bro. Yeah. You know, he pulled up. I was like, this should be good. $10 should be good for me and him to grab some ice cream. You know what I mean? And then I pulled up, and then he wanted the waffle cone. He wanted this and that. I just let him have it. You know what I mean? Like, you have it your way. We walked over. We walked there, get the ice cream, put that in there, and he's like, oh, you're not gonna get anything? I go, no. I'm like, you know, I'm trying to watch my figure and stuff, like, give him the bullshit and stuff, you know. And then we just like sat conversating. He's like, oh, I'll share it with you. You can have a bite though. You can have a bite, right? I was like, yeah, I'll take a bite. You know, and like,
that's an amazing kid, man.
Yeah, it really is, bro. Kid, he's the best, bro. He's the best thing ever, man. Like, all he does is, like, he just checks up on me. To, like, I would show you the text messages, bro. Like, I will show you the text messages of him texting me from his grandmother's phone in DR just to make sure I was good. The day his mom told him Dad's out, he made it a priority to get my number and to call me right there and then to make sure that Dad was good. You know what I mean? Like, he came in to visit me right before he took off. He came in on Father's Day. My mother brought him in. You know what I'm saying? She brought him in, and when they got downstairs, they called me down. I came down, not expecting him to be there, but it was Father's Day. I was like, oh, my mom come and see me. So I go, I'm walking down, and when I go through, after being pet down, I walk through the door and I saw my son, bro. That was the first time he probably saw me cry in real life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, not in real life, just like in life itself. Like, that's the first time he saw me cry. Like, we hugged each other for like a good 5 minutes, just like of me bawling out. Like, I couldn't hold it back. Usually I'm able to hold it back and like go cry somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And then like, and that day was just that was probably one of the most emotional days of my life ever since my grandmother passed away. You know what I mean? God bless her soul. That was the moment that like, I'm like, yo, you have to do better. You know what I mean? Like hugging your son, and then he starts crying after because you're crying, so he starts crying. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and then that's probably why he said to his friend, like, the worst thing I could ever see is my dad cry. You know what I mean? Because that probably broke his heart too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Sheesh, man. I appreciate you for being, that transparent. So, what is your plan to kind of, I know it sounds like to me like you're in total rebuild phase right now.
I really am.
Do you still have aspirations to own your own gym?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I still have all my equipment right now. You know, like I would need a building, but I do not have the funds at the moment. You know what I mean? I'm working to get to that level. You know what I mean? But right now, my main focus is my mental health. You know what I mean? To keep a good state of mind and keep myself healthy. Because I gotta, like I said, you have to work on yourself in order to do good for others and help others. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't just come out here and just like, okay, yeah, next day, I'm ready to go train some people. You know what I mean? I own the world. I'm glad you brought me here, cause like I've been thinking of because I have to post something out there. I can't just come out here and show myself running and doing this and that. I have to come out here. I still owe the world an apology. You know what I'm saying? Like I own the world an apology. I've been thinking of how to put it into words, like or like a post or something like that to put out there to apologize to the world for the damage I've caused. To individuals, to some females, to some friends. You know what I mean? To like my family is the number one thing, but like obviously that was the first focus. I'm already taking care of that and apologizing to my family. I already did that part. Now it's like to the world. Like the friends, the females, and everybody that I've caused any damage to the places I went into and caused harm. You know what I'm saying? And to the people I put through that time that I was going through those motions. You know what I'm saying? So like, this is a good spot to actually say, like, like I am sorry, world, for everything that I put you guys through, for everything that I did. But I want to let you know that I am in a better place. My mindset is a lot better. And I'm here to make things better and move forward, and that's the only thing I can do is work on myself, and then hoping that I can rebuild some of those relationships, because some of those relationships did mean the world to me. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, I thank you for taking your time out here. I definitely wanted you to have a platform where, I would ask some difficult questions, but at the same time, like I felt like it was necessary for people to hear things through your own voice. I'm so happy to know that you're back on the right track.
Yeah.
For someone out there that is struggling with addiction, drug abuse, what would you say to that person?
Get help. Get some help. You need a good support system. You need help. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to ask for help. Like us men, or just people in general. I think the number one thing that anybody's afraid to admit is that they need help.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I need help. I need help. I'm not afraid to say that I need help, because like all of this, like all the praying and all of that, I know for a fact I'm gonna get through all of this. I know there's gonna be better days. You know what I'm saying? So the one thing I can tell you is, please get help. Your family needs you. This world is a better place with you in it. You know what I mean? Don't let it be too late. and then you get a wrong batch, you overdose, you kill yourself or something like that, and then your family's left without you. You know, the biggest thing is get help. You know.
Well, thank you again for stopping by.
Hey, thank you for having me, man.
I know you're gonna be kind of on the right path, onto bigger things, and we'll definitely all see you back on top, man. And I mean that. You know,
Appreciate
what I mean?
that. Appreciate that.
You know, and outreach to me if ever, if you need someone to talk to, obviously like not on camera or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm here.
Just in
you,
real life.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely here for you, man.
Yeah, this was one of the like the positive things that's happened since I've been out. Like, you know, like when you messaged me, you should have seen this. I had the biggest smile on my face. There was my neighbor was sitting right next to me, and she was like, "Oh, what's that smile?" I was like, "Oh, you'll never believe this." And then I went through that whole like I was actually talking about this the other day. I was like, "I'd love to go on that podcast." You know what I'm saying? Like, I pray I go on that podcast one day. You know what I'm saying? But I said I have a lot of work to do before I can go on that podcast. And then that calling came sooner than that. You know, it's kind of like, you know what I mean, the law of attraction. You know what I'm saying? You manifest it, put it out there, what you want, say it, let the world know that this is what you want. Write it down. Don't be afraid. Don't think you're too cool to write shit down, man.
Right.
Bro, this is the lowest I've been, and it's one of my happiest stage in my life. You know what I'm saying? It's like it sucks. Yeah, it does. But when I'm looking forward, then I can see that like, wow, I did it before. I can do it again. Now I have the right tools to put it together. You know, I might not have the funds, but I have the right tools to put it together and then go forward. And I just want to thank everybody for all the support I've been receiving, for all the feedbacks. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody wants to see me win. I just want to say thank you. You know what I mean? Because of you, I did what I did before. And I know because of you, I will get there again. So thank you.
Well, that was great, man. Like I said, I'll leave his Instagram in the details. Y'all stay smooth out there.